I have the refreshed Suburban and redesigned Expedition, and today we're going to compare them. Now, most people know that Suburban has always dominated this category, but now Ford has brought some secret weapons to this fight that we got to talk about. I borrowed the Ford from Larry H. Miller, Super Ford here in Salt Lake City. Be sure to ask for Diego. And I borrowed this Suburban from Jerry Seiner Chevrolet in Salt Lake. Be sure to ask for Zaida. Both of these SUVs are available. Let's go ahead and check out the window stickers, starting off with the one that costs the least. At the very top is the description for the Suburban. And then here's a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause to see more. Base price comes in at $84,700, and this one does have the High Country Deluxe, and you'll see everything that comes in that package. Be sure to pause to see more. The paint was an upgrade. Also, this has a premium liner protection, which are all with the floor mats. Destination comes in at $1995 with a total price of $92,520. Here's the Ford at the very top with a description, short listing of the standard equipment. And here is the option. So this also has an upgraded paint tri-coat, Platinum Ultimate, $13,570. This too has the 8-passenger configuration, floor liners, just like that Suburban behind me. Base price comes in at $77,430. Destination is $1995 with a total price of $94,785. This should be an interesting video because there's a clear winner here, and I'm hoping you guys will be able to see it very clearly at the end of this video. With that being said, that Suburban over there costs $7,270 more than that Ford Expedition. Now keep in mind, Suburban has clout, so they own this segment when it comes down to these longer full-size SUVs. Now on the front end, let's get controversial. Which one looks better? That is not a question you can ask in a car review because everyone has their own opinion of which one looks better. But here's what I'll tell you. When it comes down to subtle and was more at home, I think that the Suburban wins that. This is definitely a step in the right direction for sure. I do like the new redesigned look. I just think that GM did a better job overall. This is just a refresh too, so not a full redesign for 2025. They also give you fog lights on the Suburban. You only get fog lights on the trimmer package. Now there is a Z71 package, and that might be a good comparison for the future. Finishing up on the front end, premium lighting does come standard. You do have a projector LED on the Suburban side, and front parking sensors are there. You have the front camera, which both of these are going to have 360 camera view, adaptive cruise control. Let's talk about self-driving for a second. Both of these SUVs do come available with that package. Obviously you have to do a subscription, blah 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 blah. Now with the Expedition, when you get that ultimate package, it gives you the Blue Cruise, it gives you the 24-inch wheels. Now you guys can probably see here on the Chevy, this has the 22-inch wheels standard, and if you want the 24s, it's going to cost you like $2,300 more. So it doesn't come a part of that High Country Deluxe package. It's a standalone option. Some people might prefer that too. With that being said, if you want the Super Cruise, it's going to cost you another $2,200+. And so when you put it apples to apples, the Suburban is going to cost you more money. And when you look at the base price, the Suburban is going to cost you more money. Now keep in mind, since we're on the side here, those power deployable running boards are an option. They do come standard on the Expedition, and it does have like a high gloss black finish too. Now these are going to be Goodyear Ego Touring tires, and GM loves their Bridgestone Alenza tires for these SUVs and their pickup trucks too. Nothing wrong there. One thing to mention too, on the Suburban, when you get these optional running boards, they do have perimeter lighting down below. Now let's talk about suspension really quickly. You guys can probably see right there, this Suburban does have air suspension. Is air suspension available on the Expedition? The answer is no. So if you want air suspension, you're gonna have to go up to a Lincoln Navigator, which is gonna cost you a lot more money. I like the overall design of the mirrors for the Suburban. You have that air that flows through, which should lower the noise inside the cabin. Ford did go with the more traditional styling here, black mirror cap. They do have like some plastic here versus the paint. More cameras, puddle lights on both sides, smart key system on front and rear doors, painted with some chrome, all painted. Second row does have your smart key too, which is pretty typical with these. And just notice all the high gloss around the windows, and they give you a little bit more up here. You have a silver accent versus the chrome on these with more plastic. As you go further back, they do actually give you a nice painted, what is this, C-pillar. This is C-pillar, and then here it is on the Ford. So it's all kind of like glass here, and it just kind of cuts off right here. And you're gonna have 4-corner air suspension. Both are gonna have independent suspension, so they're gonna ride good. 6 lugs for the wheels. And as far as fuel tank capacity goes, I think that the GM has the larger one. I believe this has a 30-gallon fuel tank. If I said that wrong, I will put it here in the video. I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe this has a 27-gallon. So out back, man, it gets very controversial here. See, someone mentioned this in my last video I did on the Expedition. The first thing I noticed when I got back here was the quad tips. Ford only gives you just that single exit, and with this Expedition you do have a high flow exhaust system because of the high output engine. Now another thing that's controversial on the Ford is the painted black trimming right here. A lot of people are just still on the fence with it. It has grown on me. I actually like it because it just kind of breaks up the white or whatever color you decide to choose. I think GM did it better though. They did a nice solid piece at the very top, and it gives you a little design on the side there. Looks great. They also gave you a clear lens tail light versus Ford's more red. They both hide the windshield wipers, which I love. It just cleans up the back. But here's where Ford wins. This is like their little secret weapon for 2025. I think this is the winner out back for sure. You have a tailgate. Love that. Now one good advantage that GM gives you here is you can't open that top glass. If you don't want to open the full tailgate, you have this option. You cannot do that with the Ford. However, you do have the top part of that tailgate that you can open, right? Now obviously this opens like a traditional tailgate here. And this is just something to note. Look at how much higher the Ford's opens compared to the Suburban here. This opens a little bit higher. Now you can adjust this too. I'll have to see if this is already adjusted. Okay, I pushed it up just a little bit more, but yeah, the Ford's is still higher. Now let's go ahead and get the tape measure out. Hopefully I have it. We're gonna measure behind this third row seat. Side to side for the Ford is 50, and we'll just call that 1/4. The GM is about an inch narrower compared to the Ford. I'm actually a little shocked by that. I was expecting the GM to be a little bit wider. That's just not the case here. Here, I'm just gonna go right here. And what we'll do is, I won't go all the way back because the door has to come down, so we'll just use 35 inches versus 32.5 inches. So yeah, you definitely have more. You can actually tell it's a little bit deeper for the Suburban behind that third row seat. Lastly, if you care to see, you do have the power third row seat. Now you do have to hold it for the Suburban. So if I push it and just let go, they stop. With the Ford, if you want to put down both seats, they just give you one button in the middle. This is just well thought out. They did a great job for this, for sure. They also give you two Type-C USBs, a 12 volt, 120 volt. You can make up a tray back here, and that's simply because you do have this tailgate design. Lastly, below that third row seat, great storage there. On the Suburban, they only give you that 120 volt power plug. That's it. However, they do give you some storage below. I would say they're about comparable, although the Suburban might be a little bit more up front here. Almost forgot. Height, 33 inches, 33 and a quarter for the Ford. So Ford has a little bit more height compared to the GM. I'm going to save you guys some time for the powertrains. GM wins, and here's why. I like the idea of this twin turbo V6. Has insane power, 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. When you get that ultimate package, you get the high output engine, it gives you the high flow exhaust. This is definitely king of the hill when it comes down to power, for sure. The only issue is you only have an option for this twin turbo engine. Not everybody wants that. On this side of the house, you get a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8. It's simple, it makes sense, it sounds good, you don't have to have fake noises like this thing does, and it has 420 horsepower compared to 440 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, which gets killed by the 510 that I said earlier. Both of these actually use the same transmission. They were co-developed between GM and Ford. 10-speed, and you have a diesel option. So when it comes down to fuel economy, class leading, if you do a lot of highway driving, this is going to get you as close to 30 mpg as possible. And they did update that engine for 2025, so it has more horsepower, more torque, it's more overbuilt. They fixed a few things in it, and I think that Ford should offer that 5-liter Coyote. I think that if they had the 5-liter Coyote with more horsepower and torque than the one that they have now currently, I think this would have won. But yeah, GM has the best powertrains currently. Now let me address this really quickly. I know that the GM V8s are having some cam lifter issues. That could be because of the deactivation of the cylinder. So if you disable that system, you could potentially never have that issue. So that's just a recommendation if you do get the V8 on the GM side of the house. But you have a diesel still, so yes, they still win. Here is the interior for the Ford. I think Ford did a great job. Here's where they win. 22 speaker sound system versus the 10 speaker in that Suburban. Don't understand why GM thinks that they can give you less speakers. Don't get me wrong, it sounds decent, but this sounds way better. I just listened to them earlier today. Now you guys see there, you have 4-wheel drive auto. Thank you Ford for that. You have your electronic parking brake, and you have huge seats. I gotta show you the seats on that GM really quickly. You don't need glasses to see that. The seat cushion in the Ford is huge. I like it so much better, and the Ford does have contouring seats, which means they massage you. Can't get that in this Chevy. This does have a 12-way seat, and they both have the lumbar that goes up and down. Now I do like the fact that they give you a button here to adjust your steering wheel column here. Let's see how you do it on the Ford. There's your push button start. 24-inch display up here. 13.2-inch display right here. If you push this right here, you can see up top, this has a sensor on the steering wheel. If you push here, if you want to adjust the steering wheel, you literally have to do it right here. I know some people are going to disagree with this, and I'll be honest, it's easy to learn and it might just be better. Same thing goes with the power pedals. You can adjust the pedals up there. Hopefully you can see that happening. You don't have adjustable pedals in that GM, however. Let's go ahead and check out the screen layout for the GM. Just want to show it to you here one more time. 24-inch, 13.2. You have an 11-inch screen here, and you have a 17.7-inch screen here. Now I did kind of skip over the door here. Premium leather, nice porous wood, a little bit of satin and piano black. Decent speaker grille design there. And look at how thick the steering wheel is. Has 3-spoke versus a 2-spoke. This is heated just like on that Ford. Push button starts right here. I like GM's screen setup better. I just do. I think that GM has just dominated for screens. It's not about size all the time. You can have a 50-inch screen, you can have a 100-inch screen if you want, but if it's not intuitive, if it's not user-friendly, then you're gonna lose the battle every time. And what I like about this screen is just the simplicity of it. Your home button's right up top here. When you put it in reverse, the camera system is just easy to use. You have this menu that stays up. Your heated and ventilated seat buttons are right there. The steering column shifter is right here. It's easy to learn, easy to use. This screen on this side, you don't really change a menu. You just have one button for it and you just go through the menus. See the menus? It's simple. You have your navigation up here. It's just a lot more user-friendly. By the way, if you need more information, they do give you heads-up display, which is not available for that Ford, and that Ford don't have this. And this is a game changer. I always want the 4K camera for my rearview mirror in every car moving forward. It's great. Now it does sit too low. I don't know if you guys saw the camera out back. The camera sits too low, so you have to put it up at the maximum, and I think it's still too low. They do give you the black headliner on this one, LED lights for both. Let's go check out the headliner on that Ford. Yikes. You have a light color roof with this new interior. I love the color of this interior, by the way. It's very unique. Now let's go and start this back up. I want to show you guys the 360 camera. You see you don't have that camera for the rearview mirror. It's not even available for this. If you put it in reverse, Ford gives you this menu here, and let's just say you hit the wrong thing, you want to go back here and click. Oh, went away. That's what I don't like about this system here. And I feel like the camera system is a little bit better on that GM. It's just a little bit more grainier on the Ford side. So there's definitely some work. Now all your controls for your seats and steering wheel are right here. You have a hard button for the GM. It's all in the menu. I just think that GM does it the best, guys. Just saying. I know that some people are going to disagree with that, but they just do. Even this screen, it's not hard to learn. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that GM does it better. They give you hard buttons for your climate controls outside of the screen. That's a big deal for some people. If you go here, this is how you get to your massage seats. You don't have this on that Suburban. If you want this on a GM product, you have to go to a Yukon or an Escalade, which costs way more money and is not really worth it if you're on that budget. Also, you do have the driver seat memories here. That's on the outside on the Suburban. Now, HomeLink on the Suburban, you have up to 8 versus 3 here. And I will say that screen is pretty cool. Like if you go to the car icon here, let's say you go to, oh actually no, I went to the wrong one. It's this one here. You can actually add stuff onto this menu. And I think that's pretty cool. I like that they did that. Your navigation can stay up there. It's nice that they did this. I think if I spent more time with it, I would probably like it more, but I just need more time with it. Now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something really quickly. You guys see the wireless charger? Ford did copy GM with this. So this does slide. Let me move the seat real quickly. You have deep storage down below. And you have this with a 12 volt. And you have 2 Type-C USBs inside of there. On this side, large glove box. Let's go ahead and check out what you have on the Suburban. As I mentioned, you have hard buttons for the climate control, you have a wireless charger, your cup holders, and you have 2 USBs. Now there's a button right here. I'm going to push it back, and as I said, this does slide, and this is where they got that from, and this is a great idea. Although GM takes it a step further and give you a little bit of hidden storage right there. You don't have that with the Ford. I'm sitting in the 3rd row seat of the Expedition. This seat is all the way back and my knees are right up against it. Obviously this 2nd row does not scoot forward and back, but it does recline with power. It doesn't go back much, but it's a little bit. Now this seat is at 15.5 inches, so I feel like I'm sitting up in a good position. Let's go ahead and check it out for that Suburban. Shockingly, I have more space for my legs. However, this seat sits 3.5 inches shorter. So your legs are like in your stomach. I mean, not really, I'm just, as an example, your legs sit higher. So I think that you have a little bit more comfort if you're a little bit taller for that Expedition. You don't have as many USBs, you only have one on each side, a little bit of storage right there for maybe a bottle and other stuff. You cannot get an 8-passenger with the Suburban High Country, and I don't think you can get rear entertainment for the Expedition. I'll be sure to clarify that here in a second. But yeah, single climate control, you have a 120-volt power plug down there, 2 Type-C USBs. Let's go ahead and check out the Ford. That is correct. No rear seat entertainment available for Expedition. 2 Type-C on both seats. Also, single climate control, outboard heated seats, and 120-volt power plug. These seats are definitely more comfortable overall. They both had the twin panel moonroofs too. Let's go ahead and check out the payload. You cannot get this with a High Country Suburban, but this was $595 as you guys saw, and it just folds flat just like that center seat back there, which you cannot get on that Suburban. You guys can see the axle ratings: 3550 for the front, 4438 for the rear. Gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 7,720 pounds, and all-in payload 1,360 pounds. And you guys see where they have the tire pressure. Here are the axles for the Suburban: 3,800 pounds up front, 4,300 in the rear, 7,700 pound gross vehicle weight rating. All-in payload is 1,395 pounds, and they do show you your towing capacity at 7,900 pounds too. I hope you guys liked the video. As I said, there is a clear winner here. And which one do you guys think it is? On 3. 1, 2, 3. I think the Expedition won this one today because of pricing, because of how they packaged it. And even though I do like the idea of the diesel or the V8 for the Suburban, I just think that the Expedition gives you more for the money. I think the biggest selling point is that rear tailgate. You can tailgate back there. I didn't even show this to you guys. I keep forgetting to show this. But you also have like these lights that are adjusted back here too. So if you are hanging out in the evening time, they give you these lights right here, and you can change the direction of the lights too. So all in all, this is definitely the redesign, latest and greatest. So we'll have to see what GM does in the future for the Suburban.